What's good, y'all? And as you can see, we have a beautiful E90 M5 here. Uh, Unique story on how we actually met the owner of this car, but that's neither here nor there. Owner wants us to change the clutch on this. So Ken and I took it for a drive. It drives fine, but when it heats up, we could feel the clutch slipping a little bit, so it's probably due. So we're gonna go ahead, get it in the shop, and get it up in the air. We're gonna take a good look at it. We're gonna replace a few other odds and ends with the shifter. We're gonna replace the flywheel, obviously the clutch. I believe we're gonna do some other things with shifter bushings, Ken.
Yeah.
All right, shifter bushing things as well.
Guibo, all that stuff.
Guibo, yes, Guibo, and then we're replacing some of the one-time use bolts. So typical clutch job. So Ken and I are both excited. We've never touched a V10 before, let alone one of these. We remember back in the day, these were gold. So now we get the chance to work on one. So let's get into it. All right, so got the car up in the air. We have the belly pans off of the car. So looks like we have a bit of a drip somewhere that we have to figure out. But so we're just observing all the connectors under here. So first thing, we're just gonna start basic. We know we have to remove the exhaust, right? So we're gonna move the exhaust, take this all the way down. Apparently in the back, assuming, I'll just take you over there. It looks like there was a repair, maybe BMW sleeved this, but there was some kind of a repair done here because those aren't BMW welds and it's on both sides. So the back half of the exhaust is gonna come off in one piece.
Well, that's not going to be the norm for everybody.
Yeah.
Just because of that repair.
Yeah, it's just because of that repair. So gonna take the exhaust off. Then obviously we have the drive shaft under the shielding, so we're gonna take all of these off and just go from there. So we'll turn some wrenches and come back. All right, so got the first set of heat shields off, second set of heat shields off. We have a clear view of the drive shaft going back now. Right, all of this is just basic stuff. So exhaust came off nice with the stainless steel bolts. We're now getting a better view. Sorry for the shaky camera. We're now getting a better view of the bell housing bolts now and kind of what we're up against. All right, what's the next phase?
I'm thinking we're going to mark all the connectors just to make sure that we don't swap any. I don't know if they are swappable. I'm just going to put a paint line on each one just to make sure the right connectors go back with the right plugs. And then pull all the extra brackets off holding the connectors. And I think we'll have a clear shot at the bell housing. We got to work on that shifter up in the cabin and drive shaft coming off. It's all real basic stuff. We have the write-up for it, but what's the purpose in following that? It's real basic.
Yeah. And as you see over Ken's shoulder, we got the trans jack ready to go. So we're gonna do our thing here. Now the goal is, I'm assuming that this setup never came apart since it was built from the factory, how everything is routed nicely. Obviously the goal is to put it back exactly the same way, right? Like zip ties and everything. But shout out to BMW with all the heat shielding, man. This thing is minty under here. But all right, we're gonna get to it.
All right, so drive shaft's out. We have on the back, it's always kind of trouble on these German cars to get the shaft out. They actually put two nice slits in the cup of the drive shaft, so I just put the tip of the pry bar in there, a little bent tip, tapped it that way, and it pushed it out. There's two slots on the side of the shaft, so that was real easy. So up front, what we got left is we're gonna put our transmission jack to support it. We are going to unbolt this transmission mount, and we're gonna see if we can lower it down a little bit so we can get a good view of the top bolts. Maybe not a view, but at least be able to get our hands on it. And yeah, after we get some more space up top, we can drop the shift or disconnect the shifter with these clips up here. There's a clip right there, and then a little farther forward there's two clips, one on each side.
Yeah, I can't get this shot.
So when we drop it, we'll be able to see that. And then also the clutch slave is just going to get unbolted from the housing and just be left hanging still with fluid inside.
That's the sleeve right there.
I did read the write-up from the manual on it, the service manual. It says specifically to slowly release the clutch slave from the housing, I guess, because it pulls in air if you do it quickly. So take note, slowly release the pressure from the slave cylinder.
All right, so as you see here, shifter is undone, and we have all of the bell housing bolts out. Now, the way you get the top two or top four bell housing bolts, I should say, is we had to undo the brace for the transmission. Oh wait, no, wrong place. Undo the transmission mount, and then the transmission hangs back a little bit, and then with some swivels and extensions, you're able to get the top four bolts. So we're at the point now, we are all chained up.
We're not just letting it hang either. We got the transmission jack lowering it.
Yep, exactly. So we got it fully loaded, ready to go. Everything is disconnected. So we're at the point now we're gonna start lowering this slowly. And yeah, so all hands on deck for this one. All hands on deck. All right, transmission is over there. And this is what we got right here. So in all honesty, it wasn't terrible. Right.
Yeah, I think I'd rather do this than change the starter.
Yeah. That right there is a starter. All right, clutch is off, and it looks like it may, I know the light's reflecting off of it, but it looks like it got a little bit hot at different times here on the flywheel, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But as we're taking everything apart, that is all clutch material.
And on the other side of the disc, it's kind of worn down past the grooves. And that's only one disc, obviously. We can't really inspect the other one much more than seeing the grooves aren't really visible. I don't know if you guys can make that.
Yeah, not really, but
Also, it's kind of not released, but maybe that's due to the adjustment.
yeah. All right, well, we'll get this. Don't know how much this weighs, but it's not gonna be pleasant. I'm gonna get this thing out, we'll lay it out on the table, and then we'll speak the particulars of what we're putting in next. Flywheel is off, but not sure what's going on with this. Hopefully you guys can get a good perspective, but what the hell is this? Like, it's up here. Any opinions? Is this a normal BMW thing? I don't think it's a part of. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It looks similar to that kind of fabric.
But then again, it was in such a good shape, though.
It was, yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
We also don't know if that's the original one or if it was replaced at some point in its life. So,
Yeah.
who knows what happened? It's a used car, right?
All right, well, leave it in the comments if you've ever seen this before or if this is normal, but we're gonna get this cleaned up real nice.
So we are going to the M3 clutch from the M5 clutch. I'm gonna just give you guys a little overview of what the differences are because we were kind of wondering when we started shopping for the parts. So we're just gonna go to the parts table and see what they look like. So this is the stock M5 clutch, and this is the new M3. The actual discs here, they are pretty much exactly the same as what they look like to me. I mean, there might be some different measurements, but the thickness of the friction material, I mean, they're all exactly the same. So I'd say as far as clamping force, I mean, that's obviously what we were wondering, is if the clamping force would be the same, and really the only differences we're seeing are the M5 flywheel has a little more meat right here, like in these center sections, versus the M3 has these little cutouts, and these holes are actually just a little bit farther apart than the M5 clutch. So these are just a little bit closer. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's actually more surface area on either one versus the other. They just have slightly different designs to go on the flywheel. So, yeah.
Yeah, for the M3 is for the E90, E92. So same generation, just the M3. All right, what else we got?
We got some new seals. This is for the input shaft on the transmission. And we 3D printed some tools to help press them on a little bit easier. So if you guys want the STLs, just let us know. I just took some measurements real quick and threw it in Fusion 360. And then this is the rear main. So we're gonna do that while we have access. We actually have one of these coming, but they're not here yet, the throw up guide. We already changed the carrier. This is the old one, and it was pretty straightforward, but you can hear not that good. So this was a lot of our slop we were dealing with. We have the full shifter rebuild kit here from, who was this, ECS?
FCP.
FCP. All right, yeah, so they put together a little kit for us. Real easy to find that on their site. And then we got the new guibo. We got some exhaust gaskets, I guess you could call them, seals. New throwout came with the clutch kit, just happens to be over here. Got some new transmission mounts because we've been dealing with a lot of driveline slop. And you know, that's the basic stuff.
All right, so I'm sure all of you who have shopped for E60 parts have run into, even though you select manual transmission, it's still gonna give you automatic and manual parts. So we accidentally purchased the SMG throwout bearing sleeve. Don't make the same mistake we did, right? So make sure you're specifically buying the one for the 6-speed. Accidentally bought the one for the automatic. That's the one mistake that was made in purchasing parts. But aside from that, we got everything we need. So I'm interested to see how these 3D printed tools are gonna work. So let's get going. Our parts table is getting nice and low. All we have left is the old clutch and flywheel. That's the old guibo. Obviously, we're not ready for the trans mount yet, but as you see here, throwout bearing, clutch fork, input shaft bearing is obviously already in.
Input shaft seal.
Oh, input shaft seal. Yes, thank you. New guibo is on. I forgot what exactly this is called for the transmission here, but this is all nicely done and in place. All right. Clutch, flywheel, everything is on. So the torque specs between, so as you remember, we're using the E92, E90, E92 clutch and flywheel. So the torque specs are the same between what you would use for E90 and E92 and this E60 M5. So got that all torqued and ready to go. So I think the next step is, are we really putting the transmission in now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we did the shifter. The little cup right there.
Talk them through it. Talk them through it.
Yeah, so we got a new cup right there, new bushing right there, and then 2 new bushings right there. It's all pretty self-explanatory stuff, except this little cup. You rotate it. If you're under the car, you rotate it counterclockwise to get it out. It'll unlock in these little... You'll see in the side there's some little tabs. It'll unlock if you turn it that way. And then you can just pop that out. But if you're doing it from up top, then you turn it clockwise. That's the only tricky part about that.
Yep. But everything's greased and ready to go. So, yeah. Just mentally collect ourselves and get ready to make the transmission and the engine one again. All right, so we have the trans fully in. It's the next day, by the way, or another day, I should say. We have the trans fully bolted in, right? So what I want to show you here, earlier when we pulled the trans out, we said that the transmission has to be sitting a little bit low and not at an angle in order for you to get the top bolts. So we have it set up in this way here, right? So if I go in the drive shaft tunnel, you see where I'm trying to shine the light here, but you see how we got those 4 top bolts there, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. You don't touch that middle one there at the top. But the only way you see these bolts is if the transmission is dipped at an angle, right? So just wanted to show you all that. Here's how it looks from the side. And yeah, so it's all bolted in. We're about to, actually we have to finish off the shifter, get that clipped up and ready to go. Ken is over there working on the transmission mounts, and finish line is in sight.
We are at the point of where we have all of the harness connected, everything zip tied up, as you can see, all back in their original spots. Got off the old gaskets from the exhaust, so we're gonna put some new seals on that. It's just like those carbon ring seals. So those are gonna go in. We've got the drive shaft up. We got the center support bolted in under the heat shield. Well, the same heat shield is up again, and it's bolted into the diff in the back. So we are ready for the last heat shield and the exhaust, and then I guess we're going for a test drive.
Yeah, I think the next...
Also the skid plate, sorry.
Yeah, skid plate, all that. I think the next one will be touching the ground, first start, listen to our idle. Yeah.
Did we go through when we put the slave in or no? I don't know if we talked about it or not.
No.
All right.
I don't think we need to, do we?
I don't think so.
It's pretty self-explanatory. All right.